There are some houses that feel wrong the moment you see them. Not abandoned, not broken, just wrong. Like they are standing still too carefully. Like they are listening. My grandmother used to say that every house remembers the people who cried inside it. I used to laugh when she said that. I do not laugh anymore because 3 months ago I moved into a house that remembered too much, and on that 12th night it learned me my name. I did not buy the house because I like it. I bought it because it was cheap. That is how horror always begins, isn't it? Not with the curiosity, not with the bravery, with a discount. It was an old place on the edge of Dead Village Road, the kind of road where even dogs do not bark at night. The nearest neighbor lived far enough away that if I screamed, nobody will hear me. The windows were tall and narrow. The paint was peeling. The wooden floors were old enough to complain under your weight, but the structure was good, solid. The agent told me the previous owner had died peacefully in the hospital. No violence, no scandal, no mystery. Just an old house waiting for a new owner. A tired man with too much debt and too little sense. So I signed the papers, and for the first week, nothing happened. Nothing supernatural anyway. The light flickered once or twice, but old wiring does that. The pipes knocked at the night. The old pipes do that too. And sometimes, when I was half asleep, I thought I heard a soft tapping from under the bedroom floor. But houses shift. Wood settles. Rat exit. Reasons is a beautiful thing. Reason is also a liar when it gets scared. The first thing that made my skin crawl happened on night 8. I woke up at exactly 3:17 in the morning. Not around 3:17, exactly. I know because the digital clock on the dresser was staring at me in red numbers. 3:17. I do not know what woke me. There was no thunder, no nightmare, no sound from outside. Just that sudden, brutal awareness that something had pulled me out of sleep. And then I heard it, a sound from the beneath the bed, not scratching, not tapping, breathing, slow, wet, human. I froze. Every muscle in my body locked so hard it hurt. The room was dark, but not completely. Moonlight was leaking through the curtain, enough to point the floor in pale silver. And from underneath the bed came the sound again. A long inhale, then shortly exhale, as if someone had been lying under me, listening to me sleep. I wanted to move. I wanted to jump and run. But there is a kind of fear that does not make you run. It makes you obey. So I stayed still. And then, very softly, from under the bed, a woman whispered, "Don't look at me." I think part of my mind broke in the moment. Not loudly, not dramatically, just small, clean crack, because the human brain has rules. If there is a monster under the bed, it should growl. If there is a thief under the bed, it should move. If there is madness, it should feel like madness. But the voice did not sound like a monster. It sounded tired, afraid, almost protective. "Don't look at me," she said again, closer this time. I could hear saliva in her mouth. Could hear breath catching like she had been crying. And then she said my name, my full name, slowly, perfectly. I don't remember getting out of bed. I remember being in bed. I remember hearing her. And then I remember being outside the room, slamming the door with both hands, gasping like I had run a mile. I locked the door, then I pushed the table against it, then a chair. Then I stood there until sunrise with a kitchen knife in my hand, waiting for the handle to turn. It never did. When morning came, I called the police. They searched the house, every room, every closet, every window, every crawl space. Nothing. No one under the bed. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. No hidden person. Just dust. One officer looked at me in the careful way people do when they think your mind is slipping off a cliff. He asked if I had been drinking. I said no. He asked if I was under stress. I laughed. I laughed at that because, of course, I was under stress. I had just heard a woman under my bed tell me not to look at her. But stress does not whisper your name in the dark. I should have left that day, packed my things, sold the house, gone anywhere else. But fear has pride in it, and pride is stupid. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Sleep paralysis, a dream, a trick of acoustics, maybe sound from the pipes, maybe voice from outside warped through the vents. So I stayed. That night, I did not sleep in the bedroom. I slept on the couch downstairs with every light in the living room turned on. I also put my phone on record. That part matters. Remember that, because around 3:17 in the morning, I woke up again, this time to silence. No breathing, no whispering, nothing. The lights were still on. The room was empty. I almost felt relieved. Then I noticed the phone screen. The recording was still running, and the audio waveform was moving. Something was being captured, something too quiet for me to hear. I picked up the phone with shaking hands and stopped the recording. For a full minute, I just stared at it. Then I pressed play. At first, there was only static, a low hiss, hum of the room, my own breathing, and then buried under it, so faint I nearly missed it. A voice, not from beside the phone, not from the room, from underneath, as the floorboards themselves had a throat. The voice was female, weak, cracking, and it said, "He looked at me." Then silence. Then now he can hear me. I threw the phone so hard it hit the wall. I actually wish I could tell you I was brave after that. I was not. I spent the rest of night in my car with the doors locked. When the sun rose, I took the recording to a friend of mine named John. He works with the audio restoration for documentaries, cleans up voices, removes background noise, isolates sounds. He listened to the clip once, then again, then third time. He did not smile. He did not joke. He just asked, "Who is the woman?" I said, "I don't know." He enhanced the sound, raised the hidden frequencies, and when he played it back through his studio speakers, my blood turned to ice because the voice was clearer now. much clearer, and underneath the woman's whisper, there was another sound, a second voice, male, low, almost impossible to detect, murmuring something behind her, very slowly, like someone speak with their mouth pressed against her hair. John turned pale. He asked me if this was fake. I said no. He asked me where it was recorded. I told him. He took off his headphones, looked at me for a long time, and said something I still hear in my sleep. He said, "Do not go back there tonight." I went back anyway, because I was still an idiot, and because terror does not always make you leave. Sometimes it drags you deeper. I spent days searching the house from top to bottom, not casually, not nervously, obsessively. I checked every wall for hollow spots, every board for hidden latches, every inch of the basement. There was no basement entrance in the listing, but old houses hide things. But evening, I found something strange in the bedroom. One blank under the bed looked newer than the others, just slightly, a little less worn, a little less warm. You will never notice it unless you were desperate. I got a hammer, pried it up, and beneath it, I found dirt, not concrete, not insulation, dirt, dark and packed down, like the house had been built over bare ground, and buried in the dirt was a photograph, black and white, crueled at the corners, a man standing beside a woman. The man was tall, then severe looking. The woman was beautiful, but her eyes were wrong, not strange, not damaged, wrong. She was trying to warn whoever looked at the photo. On the back, written in faded ink, were 5 words: "Do not let him see." That was the first time I considered burning the house down, not leaving, not calling the authorities, burning it. But fire is clean, and whatever lived there was not clean. It was old, patient. It wanted to be found. That night, I set up a camera in the bedroom facing the bed. I told myself I would not sleep. I will sit in the corner with the flashlight and watch. At 3:17, the room temperature dropped so suddenly that my teeth clicked together. The camera light blinked once, then dead, not turned off, dead. And from under the bed came the breathing again, slow, wet, human. I pointed the flashlight toward the floor. "Who are you?" I asked. The breathing stopped. Then the woman answered, "Not under the bed, not exactly, everywhere, inside the wood, inside the walls, inside my teeth." She said, "I was hiding. I could not speak." She continued, "He said if I looked at him, he would wear my face." Every hair on my arm stood up. Then the male voice came, not whispering now, smiling. That is the only way I can describe it. A voice can smile, and this one did. It said, "You already looked." The flashlight went out, not flickered, out. And in the dark, something moved across the floor, not walking, dragging, a body pulling itself closer. I heard fingers slide across wood, a knee crack, a wet strand of hair brushing the floorboards. And then something stopped directly in front of me. I could feel it there, so close that the air on my face changed. The woman spoke one last time, and now she sounded terrified. Not of me, for me, she whispered. Do not let him learn your voice. Then something cold touched my ankle. I screamed and kicked wildly. I do not know what I hit, but I heard a sound like teeth snapping shut. Then I was running out of that bedroom, down the stairs, out of the house, barefoot, bleeding. I do not stop until I reach the road. I never slept there again. The next morning, I came back with two men from demolition company. I told them I wanted the bedroom floor removed completely, cash payment, no questions. Money can make people curious. It can also make them shut up. They tore up the floorboards by noon. Under the bed area was shallow grave, not deep, not professional, just enough to hide the body. There were bones, mostly intact, and strands of long black hair still caught in the soil. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was there were two skulls, one female, one male. The police came, then forensic teams, then questions. So many questions. The record they eventually found were older than anyone expected. The house had once belonged to school teachers and his wife. They disappeared decades ago. No resolution, no known suspect, no bodies ever recovered. Until now, both buried under the same room, under the same bed, together. Do you understand what that means? Because I did not. Not then. Not until the forensic report came back. The woman's skull had damage consistent with the blunt force trauma, murder. The man's bones showed signs of post-mortem disturbance. He had not been buried as a victim. He had been put there afterward, deliberately placed with her. Someone wanted them together. Someone wanted him close enough to keep watching. That should have ended it. Bodies found, mystery solved, case closed. Neat little ending. But horror laughs at neat endings. 3 nights after I moved into a hotel, I got a voicemail from a unknown number. There was no speech at first, only static, then faint scraping sound, then woman crying. I deleted. An hour later, I got another. This time, the male voice spoke, clear, calm, close. He said, she let me out. I changed hotels. I changed my number. I changed everything I could change. But something once noticed you back. Weeks passed. Then one night, I was editing some work at home. My new apartment, 6th floor, steel door, bright lights, no old wood, no shadows worth fearing, and my laptop microphone turned on by itself. The little red light blinked just once, then stayed on. I tried to disable it. I will not switch off. Then from the speaker came the sound of breathing, slow, wet, human. I shut the laptop. The breathing continued from inside the closed machine, then whispered, so soft I nearly convinced myself I imagined it. My name, followed by, don't look at him. I live carefully now. No beds with open space underneath. No mirrors uncovered at night. No voice notes. No recording apps. I never answer unknown numbers. And every night at exactly 3:17, I woke up. Always, without fail. Sometimes there is nothing. Sometimes I hear breathing in the walls. Sometimes I hear fingers tapping underneath the floor, but last night was different. Last night, for the first time, I heard him clearly, not through static, not through wood, not from far away, right beside my ear, warm breath, a smile inside the dark. And he said, I know how you sound now. So, if you are hearing this story through headphones, if you are alone, if your room is dark, do something for me. Do not check under your bed. Do not look into the corner of the room. And if tonight at 3:17 you woke up because you hear breathing beneath the floor, whatever you do, do not answer when it says your name.